Reality can look final and still be late. The thing in front of you may not be the truth. It may be a delayed report, a leftover image from the person you used to be. That is where people lose the wish. Not because they never believed. Because they believed, then looked outward too quickly. And the old scene talked them back into the old self. The phone is quiet. The balance looks the same. The answer has not arrived. The room still feels unchanged. Then one thought appears. Maybe nothing is working. That thought is not harmless. It is the moment you give the visible world permission to rename you. Neville's teaching breaks that habit completely. The scene does not decide your state. Your state decides the meaning of the scene. The outer world is not a judge. It is a slow messenger. It often delivers news from a consciousness you already left. So the question is not, what does this prove? The question is, will I return to the old identity because this appeared? That is the real test. Not whether you can feel fulfilled when life applauds. Anyone can do that. The test is whether you remain inwardly seated when nothing has clapped yet. There was a man named Jonah who wanted a new job, not a better title for pride. He wanted peace. He wanted to stop waking up with a weight in his chest every Monday morning. He had one interview that felt perfect. The conversation flowed. The manager smiled. Jonah left the building feeling strangely calm. For the first time in months, he felt chosen. Then the waiting began. The first day, he felt steady. The second day, he checked his email 6 times. By the 4th day, he was refreshing the application portal like it was a sacred text. Nothing changed. No update. No call. No message. And every time the screen stayed blank, Jonah felt himself shrink. He stopped feeling like the man who had the position. He became the man asking a website whether he was allowed to hope. That is the trap. The screen did not reject him. The silence did not define him. But his reaction started rebuilding the old state. He was no longer occupying acceptance. He was occupying suspense. And suspense is just lack with better manners. One evening, Jonah caught himself opening the portal again. His hand paused over the trackpad, and something in him finally said, "This page is not my source." That sentence changed the room. Not dramatically, not with thunder, just enough for him to remember where the power was. He closed the laptop. Then he asked a better question. How would I move tonight if the decision had already been made in my favor? He did not jump around. He did not pretend to be excited. He simply stopped auditioning for the result. He cooked dinner slowly. He laid out clothes for the next morning. He wrote down 3 ideas he would bring to the new team. Not to force anything, not to impress the universe, because the hired version of him would naturally think forward. That is living from the end. It is not a costume. It is not fake confidence. It is allowing the assumed reality to change your ordinary movements. A person who is secure does not beg the hour for permission. A person who is chosen does not study silence like an enemy. A person who is provided for does not let one number become their god. They may still notice the scene, but they do not kneel to it. That is the difference. Neville was not asking you to fight facts. He was asking you to stop worshiping them. Facts are useful for navigation. They are not useful for identity. You can pay the bill in front of you without becoming poor in imagination. You can notice the unanswered text without becoming unwanted inside. You can see the delay without becoming delayed in your own mind. The outer scene may say, "Not yet," but your inner state can say, "Already mine." And if you keep choosing the scene trains you. If you keep choosing the assumption transforms you. Jonah still had moments of doubt. Of course he did. He was human. But when doubt appeared, he no longer treated it as prophecy. He treated it as a visitor. It could pass through. It could not move in. That is persistence. Not forcing a feeling every second. Not panicking because your mind flickered. Persistence is returning to the chosen state before the old one becomes home again. 2 days later, Jonah received the call. The offer was his. But the strange part was this. The call did not feel like rescue. It felt like the world finally reading what he had already accepted. That is what happens when the assumption leads. The evidence loses its throne. You still appreciate it. You still celebrate it. But you do not depend on it to tell you who you are. This is the quiet power. To stand before an unchanged scene and refuse to become unchanged by it. To see the same walls, the same inbox, the same numbers, and still carry a new inner address. Because assumption is an address. You cannot live in 2 homes at once. You cannot be the one who has it and the one begging to know if it is coming. One must be chosen, and the world follows the one you occupy most naturally. So stop asking the visible moment to confirm the invisible decision. That is backwards. The visible moment is not the leader. It is the echo learning a new sound. Let it be late. Let it look ordinary for a while. Let the old scene finish speaking. You do not have to answer it. Your work is inward loyalty. Return to the state. Return to the quiet certainty. Return to the version of you who no longer asks life to vote on your worth. The phone may be quiet. Remain chosen. The account may look unchanged. Remain supplied. The room may look the same. Remain renewed. Because the scene is not the source. It is the surface. And the surface always changes last. Neville's secret is simple, but it is not soft. Do not let what you see become what you are. Let what you are become what you see. The world will argue for the old identity. Not because it hates you, because it has not yet received your new instruction fully. So do not collapse when the first reflection looks familiar. Do not cancel the assumption because the room did not rearrange itself overnight. Do not return to the former self just because the former picture still has color. Stay with the inner decision. Not tensely, not desperately, not as a technique to make something hurry. Stay because this is who you have chosen to be. That is the moment manifestation becomes natural, when the assumption stops being something you practice and becomes the place you live from. Then life does what life must do. It rearranges. It softens. It opens. It mirrors the state you refuse to abandon. So today, let the scene be late. Let the facts be unfinished. Let the evidence arrive when it arrives. You have already chosen your identity. And once identity is chosen inwardly, the world has no choice but to learn your new name. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because what you learn next could change your life.